Northern Europe is very sensitive about privacy and use of data. We were worried that there might be some online banking users who were saying, okay, you're using my data to make money of me, that's not okay, but we had almost nothing. And of that, less than 0.5% opted out of the program. And the reason is, we believe that we were successful in communicating and showing you how it works, and because these are high quality offers, everyone likes it. And it's clear how it's done, how it works, so then everyone's happy. And because the offers are part of a larger concept of a financial advisor, so it's just seen in that context rather than as spammy advertising. Third, we encourage banks to work with agile fintechs. We are one, of course, we see ourselves as a mature startup company, but there's a lot of opportunity to move faster, to work with fintechs. We see many banks, like in the UK, have special programs for small startups to get them started, because it's not easy to work with big banks. So a lot of interesting solutions can come out of that. Fourth, you don't have to be the best, biggest, you don't have to be Apple in terms of innovation of new concepts and user experience. Just follow the best practice. Avoid reinventing the wheel, but apply best practice to your own platform. If you, for example, the financial activity feed I showed you is not, in a sense, new innovation. You could say it was invented by Facebook or someone before that, and it's used by running apps and personal health apps and so on. It's not a new concept, but it's one of these ways that people really like consuming information. So it's about copying these proven things and doing it really well in the context of banking, something that banks have been bad at. And finally, move faster, do everything you can, change the organization if necessary to get more aggressive in moving faster. We've seen too many projects in banks that start or never finish, or when they finish 2 or 3 years later, they're obsolete and they're not maintained, so this just doesn't work. You have to find ways to do it so you can launch in some months and not more, and then continually measure and upgrade. And that might need more than just putting in place technical project, also maybe some organizational changes to foster to make sure that happens. That's that's all we have time for today. But happy to answer questions if you have some. I think we have only a few minutes though. Yes.
George, right?
Yes.
George, this is quite an exciting topic for me. I get excited when we look at building capabilities for a digital age. I've got so many questions, but I'm going to limit it just to 2, and maybe we can catch up after the session is done.
Yeah.
2 questions. Meniga, is this how you pronounce the name of your company?
Yes, Meniga.
What exactly is it? Is it an integrator in the whole ecosystem? Is it a platform? Or is it actually a means that you provide intelligence and use of data to provide that insights for banks? That's one. And secondly, do you have any plans to have presence in South Africa?
Yeah. So we are primarily we're a software company. We sell software solutions to banks. So we license our software. Banks that work with us typically deploy the software on premise. It's a software solution that comes takes data from back-end systems, from core banking systems, from credit card systems, from all the systems, cleans it up and reads. So there's a data platform with an API. Some banks, we work with them just build on top of this API. This becomes one of the key APIs to drive the next generation bank. We also provide a lot of front-end solutions like I showed you examples of, and we share this with our customers. They can use those concepts, they can take the source code and modify it. In some cases they do it very similar, some cases they do it very differently. But we come on as consultants typically to help them design those solutions, design the new user experience. That's one of our core competencies. And and your second question, yes, we have Meniga does not have an office here, but we have some partnership. For example, we're presenting here today with one small system integrator company, MDM Technologies, but we have all the partners, and we have two customers here, one bank, and and Momentum, the insurance company. So we're here once in a while. Thank you.
Hi, George. I just want to find out, your focus seems to be on banks.
Yes, mostly.
Mostly. Do you, by any chance, have vision to be looking at the middleman that services the SME directly? Currently, I work for one of the funders that basically looks at funding SMEs. And the greatest challenge that we find ourselves with is that SMEs have issues with managing their cash flows.
Yes.
So this for me sounds like something that could also be extended to that type of facility, which makes it very easy for us to be able to give our SMEs that particular analytic sort of a platform for them to be able to extend their companies to be much bigger.
Yeah.
Are you able to provide a service at that level and not just at a bank level?
Yes, I mean we do work. We have some customers that are non-banks, and that's something we could certainly look at. We're happy to speak about that after this talk. But still, I mean the heart of the system is based on transaction processing, getting data from bank accounts and credit cards, having a holistic view. And so when we work with banks, that's easier in the sense that then you have access to the data, you integrate with those systems. If you're working outside the bank, you either have to agree with the banks to get the data, or you have to get the data in with other means, which is possible. We, for example, have been running an account aggregation service here in South Africa with a cooperation with Momentum, which is not a bank, but they're an insurance company, for a solution, personal finance management solution, helping their insurance advisors give personal finance tools to their customers. It's not a mainstream solution, but it's for their advisors. So yeah, there are possibilities, but we need to understand more details. We're happy to have that conversation afterwards.
Hi, George.
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, just got distracted. Just a quick one. In working with banks, and I think South Africa is quite a diverse country as well, totally different to Europe, but
Yeah.
I think we're getting there. We still have quite a large group of people that do not necessarily have bank accounts,
Yeah.
of which, of course, in us trading with them, we definitely making a lot of money with them. But just looking around the innovative space in working with the banks and trying to entice them, of course,
Yeah.
in getting into the banking part of things, so that, of course, I mean, it makes our lives easier as well. Are you looking into such? Well, I guess now just having a footprint in South Africa, is it something that you're working on? Is it something that you would consider?
Is what precisely?
Is it something, working with the banks, is it something that you would be considering in terms of allowing that innovative space, or enticing the banks to get more innovative ideas and enticing those customers to basically have bank accounts?
Yeah, I mean, for example, we're now part of one project in France where it was a neobank, if you will, so a very simple direct bank that started there years ago, very successful, just to target unbanked people, relatively few in France compared to South Africa, but still some groups, so they've been targeting them. Very simple products, very easy to use interfaces, very bank accounts that you get a card, but you could never be overdrawn. But then they found there was a lot of, and we found that some of the things we do with the transaction analysis and helping people understand and manage the money, they are very relevant in that kind of proposition. So yes, I think some of the things we're doing can work in such a proposition.
Hi, George. I've just Googled some information on broken data just to get a bit more understanding. And there was just a brief article on, Technology Weekly, and they said that this will give access to people to actually edit their information. So whether you move addresses, you can edit that information. What will be the standard in terms of authentication that this person's address or this person's ID is actually that person? When we look at open data, what will be the standard across the board to say that this is correct? Will there be a ledger that everybody confirms with? What will the standard be?
No, that's a good question. I don't think there's a clear answer exists to it. I mean, what we're seeing, like in Europe, that it could be kind of show the way for other countries. It's unclear when this will happen, but and in the financial sector in Europe, there are different countries, even though there's a pan-European legislation, different countries are adopting and working on different standards to share the banking data, the transactions from your bank account, from credit cards, and to facilitate payments. I think some of them will be similar, but that is not, the legislation says what has to be done, but there's still work in progress to implement this and choose the standards. But this is a very, I mean, it's one of the big questions of our time. I mean, open data and privacy and so on. So, and ensuring that the data is safe.